My father had been going through a breakup with his girlfriend, who he'd been with for 4 years, and had a daughter together, my sister. He had completely changed after they decided to end things, became very depressed, and started to drink almost every day. On Friday after school, he picked me up and looked quite troubled. That night, he held me in his arms and cried the whole night. I thought he was in just a lot of pain from his separation, but it later became clear to me that he was saying goodbye. 2 days later, he seemed normal and we went to the grocery store together, but he said something out of the blue to me. He said, "No matter what happens, go to school and become successful." I thought nothing of it at the time and agreed cheerfully. When we arrived home, I started to unpack the groceries while he started making lunch. My stepmom brought my baby sister to spend the day with us, which was great. But my smile soon dropped when a small argument broke up between her and my dad. When they stopped talking, I continued to unpack the groceries when I suddenly heard her shouting in fear. I turned around quickly to see the most frightful scene. My dad grabbed her by the hair and was dragging her into his room. I started to cry hysterically, begging him to stop, but anger had already taken over and my voice couldn't reach him. My sister stayed in the kitchen watching her family fight. Every time I came closer to him, he'd push me away. Daddy didn't hurt me. He was just trying to get me out of the way. My older cousin, who was sleeping upstairs, rushed down to help free my stepmom. She escaped once, and the look of fear on her face broke my heart. She was begging for us to help her, but we couldn't. My dad had already grabbed her and was dragging her back into the room. That's when we noticed that he had a weapon in his hand. He looked at me for 1 second, and I could see the sadness in his eyes. I knew if he looked at me any longer, he'd come to his senses and drop everything. Then, just as quickly as he looked into my eyes, he broke eye contact and looked away. He pulled her into the room once more, and my cousin started to frantically push me to the door. I managed to grab my sister, and before I reached the door, that was the moment a loud bang rang out, echoing through the house. I ran upstairs where my other family members were standing, frozen, shocked. I was crying so loud all the neighbors could hear me. Before the police came, I heard that my father was still alive, but my stepmom was gone. I walked into my home, alone and afraid. And as I walked into the room where it all happened, I saw my dad laying on top of my stepmom's body. He was gasping for air. I was too scared to get too close. I walked into the room and held onto my father's feet, fearing that if I touched him, he would get hurt. Quickly, I started to feel dizzy and ran out of the room in shock. I later learned that my father had taken his own life. I had attended 2 burials, a piece of me left with each of them. All that was on my mind was how I needed to stay strong for my baby sister and take care of her. After that day, my life has changed. I have to go to counseling meetings, and I receive daily messages from people asking me if I'm okay. Am I okay? I know this is them caring, but this is hard to answer and tell them. No, I am not okay. I had to witness all of this, and I've lost everything. Even my sister has been taken away from my family and I, and there's nothing I could do about it because I'm also a minor. My heart aches every day, and I feel empty. I miss my dad so much, and I feel incredible pain when I think of my stepmom. They were supposed to get married this year. My father left letters that I'd never even got to read because the police station is holding on to them, not allowing me to get closure. I later on also found out that my father was being teased about his separation by his colleagues at the police station where he and my stepmother both worked as police officers. I feel angry, sad, and have a lot of feelings that I just cannot explain. But I've been keeping my head high, living in hope that one day I will get my sister back and return to my home where all of my memories with my dad are. I look up into the sky and I feel hope. I know that they are watching over me, and I hope that they've forgiven each other for their mistakes, and that God had mercy on my father's soul for the sin that he committed. I am young and afraid, but I've been blessed with strength, and with that, I keep on living.